up, we've got James Bradley. So welcome to the stage, James. That was a mouthful at this time of day. Here's the clicker. There you go.
Fabulous. Thank you.
Over to you. Welcome stage.
Well, good afternoon, everybody. And as Louisa, I think, said a moment ago, it's been a great day so far, and we're, I guess, slightly over halfway now. So what's been really interesting for me when I stepped back and thought about the topic today, which, as we know, is the roadmap for the future, and then having sat in the audience all morning, I think it's been very clear that as an industry, we're all thinking about people. And I don't think we should underestimate that, and I think that's something to be celebrated and something we can all be really proud of, because I do wonder, we heard earlier that we're 3% of the GDP. Are we the biggest sector in the country that cares the most about people? Perhaps we are, and I think that's great. It's also been very helpful for teeing up my presentation today, because I've been asked to talk a little bit about a case study of something we've been doing. So I'll just spend a few moments framing that, if I can, and then we'll get into what we've been up to. So when we step back and we think about the future at Churchill, and being a group of specialist businesses within the facilities management space, we're worried about change. We've got a backdrop, like we all do, of uncertainty. We've got geopolitical things going on. We've got various world leaders creating challenges and lots of different things. So when we think about the future, it can be quite daunting. But one of the things that we're absolutely sure on, and I think Louise has covered really well just now, is that leadership is definitely a very important part of our futures, and that's something that I wanted to talk about today and tell you a little bit about what we've been doing about leadership and our journey of leadership at Churchill. And the title there is obviously, are we giving the next generation of leaders the opportunity to own their futures, but also importantly ours as well. So where to begin? I think it's fair to say, and I think it's been really well covered today as well, that the FM sector is built upon experience. I think Sarah, I think you're there, aren't you? Yeah, you did an amazing job. I thought we all found that really interesting, thinking about 50 years of experience, and we've probably all come away from that thinking, what about the next 50 years? But it's fair to say that the business has been, or the industry's been built on experience. But the challenge with experience, I went off and Googled the definition. It takes time to do things, to see things, and I also importantly think feel things, which we've spoken a little bit about AI today. AI can probably do things and perhaps see things, but can it feel things? So those three things around gaining experience are really critical, but importantly, they take time. So if we don't think about leadership and how we can gain experience and develop our leaders, then we perhaps will come across a challenge as we move forwards. And particularly that resonates in our business. So we're an employee-owned business. So the employees own our business. We haven't got external shareholders and minds that are driving us forward. So it's really important as a business we get our heads together and think about long-term planning, and leadership is a critical part of that. So where to start? I think this might be a familiar narrative that we see in out in the press, in various articles, various research around the younger generations aren't as loyal anymore. There's a piece in there, I think, from a Deloitte piece of research that is saying that Gen Zs are looking to do careers with companies for 1 to 5 years, and they're really not shy in coming forwards with what they expect from a company. And I think we could all get absorbed by those headlines, but when you look a little bit deeper into what does it really tell us, I don't think it's fair to say that Gen Zs, as an example, are inherently disloyal to companies. I think that's actually completely wrong. I think the clear narrative that comes through is Gen Zs really want to be able to grow and acquire skills. And that's quite different. So if Gen Zs are leaving our organisations in that 1 to 5 year horizon, it's probably because we're not helping those individuals grow and develop. And I think that's a really important takeaway, and something that we've certainly learned from. And I personally think that's fair enough. If you think about in this connected world that we live in this day and age, and the concept of FOMO, the fear of missing out, if you can see over there that your friend or family member or past colleagues learning and gaining loads of skills at a different organisation, you are going to get FOMO, aren't you? So I think that's something that we've certainly taken on board as a business, and something that we think really carefully about. When you then mix that with perhaps generations, so we talked earlier about boomers and X, I think at that time it was fair to say that the longer you stayed at an organisation, the safer you felt. And I think that was a general proven concept, and certainly got mentioned earlier. But now I think the way that we need to look at this for the younger generations is the thing that makes younger generations feel more secure and safe is acquiring new skills and having opportunities to grow, and that is their safety now. So when we bring these things together, I think it really does make a huge business case for all organisations, and of course the sector, to invest in developing our next generation of young leaders and talent throughout all areas of our business. So what happens if we don't do it? I think this one's really simple, personally. We think about the 50 years earlier. We're not going to get very far in the next 50 years if we don't invest in leadership. I think it's leaders that help us navigate all the different challenges and opportunities and risks that have been and will be ahead of us for sure. And if we're not investing in developing our leaders, it is going to slow progress down for absolutely any organisation and any sector. So hopefully I've set the scene there well, and it builds upon some of the things we talked about today around the compelling reason for why. Lastly, I've mentioned that we're an employee-owned business, so for us, thinking about the long-term development of our business and our sector is really key. And I think the really nice thing that we found as we've been on our journey is that we've all got even more reason to care about the future of our business than perhaps other businesses, but it's by no means a barrier to entry. But what it also does mean, and someone mentioned this really early on, that a big part of leadership is about taking responsibility. That it's really important that our organisation, for us and the sector in general, takes responsibility for driving investment in our people. So, hopefully this video doesn't automatically play. No, you don't know it's a video yet. Just before I play this video, I just wanted to set the scene. This is now going to jump into something that we've been doing about this and something that we've invested in. And you'll see that it's going to talk about what we call our Own Your Futures programme. And when we sat down and we really thought about our Own Your Future programme and what do we want to get out of it, it was a really simple message that we ended up setting ourselves. We wanted to help capable people in our business see themselves as becoming future leaders, and that's what Own Your Futures is all about. So I'm going to play a very short video, and hopefully that sets the scene. He says, let's try again. Nope. How do I make that play?
Once more and then wait.
Technology, eh?
Doesn't look like it's invented, is it?
I can see it on my screen. Can anyone with the AV help me out? It's just here. Oh, maybe missed it. Is it touch screen? Where's the actual laptop?
I don't know. So I'm looking for. Can you control the laptop from up there? Trying. It's on the next slide, it's just not showing. It's like the slide's hidden, so when you go next, it's skipping a slide. Nearly.
It is there, I promise. I've built the suspense for this video, it better be good.
I'm not putting the time off, don't worry.
Yeah. If not, we'll have to just share it afterwards. No? Okay. All right. Well, that's a shame. We'll share it afterwards. But what the video was there talking about was some of my colleagues that have been through our Own Your Futures programme and what it meant for them. So we'll have to share it another time. But the case study in words, I guess. So there's a few things on here that the things that I really wanted to pull out. So we've had 100 colleagues either complete our program or currently on our program, which is roughly represents a third of our management team. So we've made some really great progress, but of course, as we want to continue, we've got aspirations for everyone to go through this program, and we also hope to continue to grow and outpace those statistics we looked at earlier of the 3%. Oh, we're apparently good for the video, so I'll reverse.
Own Your Future development programme was originally set up because we recognised actually that we needed to do more to better equip our frontline managers to really elevate their performance and how they support both the client and our teams.
What made me take part in the programme was my development. There was nothing like it. Churchill hadn't done it before, and you could just see how they wanted to progress their frontline managers.
For me, the Own Your Future programme means that the business believes in me. And I think it's helped me to be somebody that is, I guess, trusted within the ambient business, is capable. It's already made a difference to the way that I work. It's really helped me to look at my team and help them to manage situations in a lot more organised, more focused on the key measurables, and actually use a lot of the tools to help my team that report into me. I think to be part of the Own Your Future community, it's a special feeling, and you're in it together. There's no right or wrong, there's no failure.
What it feels like is a family, and you can just see the way it pulls so many people together.
We keep in touch regularly, we support others, we hear about promotions. The frontline manager role is a really challenging role, and this programme and the opportunity around development is really helping to equip them to face into some of those situations that they're met with and being confident in how they approach those.
Throughout the course, we were all growing and using what we had learned, and it was quite exciting to come back and speak about it, and I learned so much more than I was expecting.
I would encourage anybody to take part in the future programme. Why? Because it will support them in their day-to-day roles, professionally and personally, and it will just help them progress and grow within Churchill.
I would 100% recommend taking part. I think because it allows you to unlock your capabilities, it's really on you to succeed, and people bring that out in you in that community, and people want you to succeed. So I think it's been a really supportive community. It's felt really special to be part of.
So I'm sure my colleagues, they'd kill me for showing that video in front of 200 people, but got across the passion for, I was working twice now, passion for what they go through, got through the programme. So as I was saying, we've we're good, yeah, cool. We've been successful with getting either completely through or partially through 100 of our colleagues, which is a great start, and we want to continue that momentum. What we've seen that's been quite interesting is we've had immediate benefits from the programme. So everyone's already within our business doing roles for us, doing a great job, and those immediate skills we've seen have trickle out across all of our specialist businesses, but also to our customers and to our colleagues. And we've found this sort of trickle effect that actually some of the things that we've learned on the programme have been passed down and around to colleagues, both to their managers and equally to the people that are working for them, which has been a great here and now benefit, whilst equipping ourselves as our core aim of the programme was to help us grow our leaders for tomorrow and help guide our business into the future. We've had two versions of the course. One of them, which was predominantly talked about in the video, is for our frontline management. So what we mean by that is our managers that are out in the field that, in my opinion, have probably got the hardest role in the FM space, that have to deal with customers, misbehaving buildings, colleagues, and everything in between. So that was our original focus. And then we've also rolled the programme across what we've called our leaders of leaders. So people in leadership positions in our business already have also been through the programme to, one, learn for themselves and strengthen their leadership journey, but also so that there's a strong understanding of the course for all of the colleagues that are going through it, and we've got that common language. So what makes the course work? Just to share a few things. I was hoping this is a case study after all. So we didn't really do anything classroom based. So we have done some theory work, but it's all been around real life scenarios in our actual business, which we found really helped bring it to life. And the whole program is really focused on building our colleagues' confidence. And I do think confidence is a really important part of being successful. But also judgment skills. So lots of people have talked today around that human element of how we make judgment calls all the time. Sometimes they're really small things, other times they're really big decisions, and most of the time it's continuing and they're compounding on top of each other. But then, of course, also thinking about leadership capabilities and the journey that we can all go on as leaders. The last thing I would say that really drives the success for us on this course is we've seen huge links to colleagues going through the course and then succession planning and onward job opportunities and growth in our colleagues already. And we've only been running the programme for 2 years, so something we're really quite proud of. So just sort of circling back around to sort of our employee ownership and why this means even more to us. So I mentioned earlier that by being employee owned, we are all responsible for our business, and therefore we need to think about our business today. We need to make sure we're looking after everyone and including our customers today, but we also need to be thinking long term into the future. And if we're not doing that, then no one's doing that for us. So it really does mean a lot to us for us to be able to take responsibility to drive through. And then when we think about the ability to give ourselves development, to drive our confidence in what we're doing, to grow our skills and continue to go on our journey, we really find that those two things allow us to take that long-term view. And another reason why the long-term view is important to us, and hopefully this resonates with everyone in the room, generally speaking, when we're looking to initially work with the customer, it typically is on a 3-year contract or maybe a 5-year or sometimes 10-year, but they tend to be reasonably long-term. So actually, it's really important that the work we're doing today is also going to be trickling through and supporting those customer relationships and the people delivering those services throughout that time. And of course, I'm sure this is not new to anyone, but what we want to continue to do is do that day after day and for as long as possible. So that really is why we see this as a self-perpetuating investment and something that we've had really early success on, but we're really confident it will continue to grow in success. So before I sit down, have I got pretty much on time. Good. Before I sit down, I thought I wanted to make a point, and hopefully this is something that everyone can take away and think about. We have talked a lot today about shortage of talent, and we've got workforce retiring at perhaps a faster rate than it's arriving. But when it comes to leadership, I don't think we've got to go and find these people. I think our leaders of tomorrow are already in our businesses, and if they're not in our businesses, they are already in our sector. And the question for us is not let's not find them, let's actually develop them. And that's something that's really important to us in our Own Your Futures programme. In summary, if I go right back to the agenda, the FM, a roadmap for the future, and we think about all these different things and these different topics we've talked about today, I think investing as organisations in leadership and the next generation leadership will be the most strategic thing we can do to tackle all of these things that we're currently thinking about, but also the things that we'll be thinking about in the next 10 years and the 10 years after that, because it is, after all, the leaders that will help us navigate those opportunities, those risks and those activities that we'll have in front of us. And I'll just pick on one. We've spoken, and I'm sure like all of you, everywhere you go, someone talks to you about AI. So just thought I'd reflect on AI and leadership. Earlier this week, I had the opportunity to sit down with some AI experts, and they were kicking around the room how amazing the tools were and everything. And one topic that came up was around how AI is being accepted around the world and how cultural differences have actually very different views to each other around AI. Some cultures are very much open arms and say, "Come on in, we're gonna embrace this and do really well with it." And other cultures like the UK and most of the Western world are very sceptical of what AI is actually going to do. Is it going to steal my job? Is it going to take over the world? Is it going to be completely useless and do nothing? I think there's lots of scepticism, and And when I reflect back on leadership, I think the most important thing that we as leaders can do around AI in the facilities management space is build trust. And trust, I think, is built through consistent quality leadership. And without that trust, how can we figure out what AI is going to do well for us? How can we also be confident enough to weed out actually what it's not going to do well for us and where it is dangerous? So I do think whatever topic you pick on, and AI is a very topical one to do, that leadership plays a huge role in that, and that's why I would urge everyone in the audience to think about how we're developing the next generation of leaders in our businesses and across the sector. And that's it from me. Thank you very much.